Alright, so I'm going to finish number 2. So number 2 talks about two different functions. We know the first derivative of f, and then we know the graph of g. And so C is asking us to fill in this table with positive, negative, or 0. And, well, it's just positive and negative on this one, sorry. The one you're going to do is positive, negative, or 0. And then we're going to give the reason. So we have to make sure we don't forget to give the reasons. And so they've already filled in positive for the couple of intervals just for g. And so we are going to fill in for g prime. And so for g prime, between -3 and 0, because g is increasing, g prime should be positive. And then same thing between 0 and 3, between where x is 0 and x is 3. G is increasing, so g prime is positive. I'm going to go ahead and give my reasons for that. So g prime is positive. And then I'm just going to list our intervals like they are on the table. And the reason is because g is increasing there. Well, g is actually increasing everywhere on this graph, but all right, and then this third row is talking about the second derivative of g. And so to make that determination, we need to know if g is concave up or concave down. So between -3 and 0, g is concave up, so that's going to make g prime positive. And then between 0 and 3, g is concave down, so that's going to make the second derivative negative. Alright, and so g double prime is positive from -3 to 0 because g is concave up there. And then g double prime is negative from 0 to 3 because g is concave down there. Now it's super important that you don't say the function, because we're talking about 3 separate functions here, g, g prime, and g double prime. So you have to be very specific about which function you're talking about, and you call it by name. Alright, and then D, we're going to let h be the function defined by f of x times g of x. And we want to know if h is increasing or decreasing at x equals 0. And we're going to give a reason. So if you had a question like this on the AP test, you would get a point just for writing the product rule. And so to decide if h is increasing or decreasing, we need the derivative. And so we're going to do the product rule, where we're going to leave f alone, multiply by the derivative of g, plus leave g alone, and multiply by the derivative of f. Alright, and then we would want to go back and put 0 in for all of our x's. Alright, and then now we should be able to look either at the table for the g information, or look at things we're given, or the function to find the f information. All right, so f of 0, let's go back. Now, like I said before, usually when they give you something like that, you do have to use it at some point. I can't say always, but usually. We know f of 0 is -1, so I can fill that in. All right, and then if I look at the table, g prime of 0 is 2. Right, looking at the table, g of 0 is also 2. And then f prime of 0, we're going to actually have to evaluate this function of f prime. So we would put 0 in for x. So somewhere, kind of go over to this side and do that. All right, e to the 0 is just going to be 1, so that's going to be -5/4. Now remember, it's not asking us what h prime of 0 equals. It's just asking us if h is increasing or decreasing. So really, all we need to know is if h prime of 0 is positive or negative. And so I know that's going to be a negative plus a negative is going to be a negative. All right, and then we have to give a reason for our answer, and so I'm going to squeeze this in here. So h is decreasing at x equals 0 because h prime of 0 is negative, or you can say is less than 0.